with sales for customers or sales for EPs and how we can really break that down into simpler terms, because that's the only consideration part when it comes to selling our product to our EPs or students. The most important thing, or the pre-sales part when it comes to selling your product or your projects to your EPs, is definitely how your opportunity looks like on XPA or the opportunities portal, whether it really attracts an EP or not. And the second thing is whether it's really put on time or not. It needs to, at least when we're talking about approving the right number of EPs for our projects, we at least need to have the opportunities on system at least 3 months prior to the realization date. And the third thing is whether you all really have enough members to really control or really coordinate with those many number of students if you're looking at X number of applicants. Now post that, when we're talking about really going on ground, which is here the virtual Skype interview which we have, which is the consideration part. The most important thing here is whether you have responded to the applicant in no time. Basically, what we would like to follow is contact an applicant that applies to our projects within 6 hours of their application. And post that, it's important that the content that you send or while you're trying to fix an interview with the EP is extremely appealing, wherein you really talk about what are the expectations from the interview and acknowledging their application, which is the most important factor here. And during the interview, a couple of things which needs to be covered is definitely questioning the intent of the applicant as to why they're applying to the project. And the second thing is to really build the trust as a member, as someone who will be delivering the project to that EP. That's important. And the third thing is you leave the EP with the mindset being they're really excited to come down for that project, and that's a kind of an assurance for the EP to really think forward after the interview. Now post interview, it's extremely important to still engage the intern. We don't just leave the intern after the interview, but we need to make sure that we give them enough materials, enough content for them to really consider the project that you're trying to sell. So when you're talking about post-interview materials, it could be more about the safety of the city. It could be talking about the project itself in depth, about what is the kind of impact, what's the bigger picture about them coming down to the country itself. Now the other factors which are important post-interview is how we need to be really quick in terms of engaging with the EP and simultaneously the EP manager as well. And that's where process time comes into picture, wherein we need to be extremely clear on how we follow up with two most important people when it comes to selling, as your EP manager and your EPs itself. So if you have already created IR, then selling to an EP shouldn't be that big a problem here. But regular communication with your EP manager and EPs is extremely important for us to make sure our process time is extremely less. And that's when you know that your product is sold, when you see the EP being approved after being accepted, once they complete their LDA assessment, once they complete the payment, which needs to be communicated continuously with the EP managers, and at the end of the day we get that done and you see the EP being approved. And those are the simple steps when it comes to how we can really make our EPs consider our project, our city and ISEC as a whole.